Welcome to a thought-provoking and intellectually challenging debate on one of the most profound concepts in religion and philosophy, the Day of Judgment and Resurrection. In this discussion, we have two participants: Alex, an atheist, who strongly doubts the idea of resurrection after death, and Tom, a theist, who passionately defends the belief in the Day of Judgment and the resurrection of the dead. Please note, this video is purely for intellectual and philosophical exploration and testing artificial intelligence capabilities. We do not have any personal goals or intentions with the content shared in this video.
Debate: the Day of Judgment and Resurrection. Alex, Tom, you believe in the Day of Judgment and the resurrection of the dead. But does this belief really make sense? To me, once a person dies, everything ends. There's no evidence, no reason to believe that people come back to life. Why should we trust in something for which there is no proof?
Tom. Alex, that's a fair question. But let me offer a perspective. Belief in the resurrection is not just a baseless belief or something irrational. When we look at the order of nature, life and death have always been a cycle. We see that for everything that ends, something new begins. A tree dies, and its seed falls to the ground, giving rise to new life. Perhaps the Day of Judgment and Resurrection are part of a similar natural process of transformation.
Alex, but Tom, this idea of transformation is too vague. The fact is, all the scientific evidence we have shows that after death, there's no return to life. How can we believe in something so unfounded, especially when science tells us otherwise?
Tom. Alex, you're right to point out science. However, science is limited to what we can observe and measure physically. There are many things that exist beyond the reach of science. For instance, we can't see love under a microscope, nor can we measure the true nature of consciousness with experiments. The resurrection and the afterlife are beyond the physical world. Just because they can't be measured scientifically doesn't mean they don't exist. Look at the laws of physics. There are principles we know exist but don't fully understand. The absence of evidence in science doesn't disprove the existence of something beyond the physical.
Alex, but Tom, when we look at death, it seems clear that when the body stops functioning and decays, the person is gone forever. How can we logically expect someone to return from death? This idea just doesn't fit with what we observe.
Tom. Alex, that's a reasonable conclusion based on what we know. However, let's consider that there might be more to the universe than what we can see. Some of the greatest philosophers throughout history have believed that the world operates on a deeper level of meaning and purpose. What if life on Earth is just a small part of a much greater, eternal journey? Death may not be the end, but simply a transition to another phase of existence. Many spiritual and religious teachings describe death as a step towards something bigger.
Alex, but Tom, throughout history, we haven't seen anyone truly rise from the dead, and there's no concrete evidence to suggest that such an event could happen. Shouldn't we be skeptical of something with no observable proof?
Tom. Alex, you're right that we haven't observed anyone coming back from the dead in a scientific sense. But there are countless reports from people who have had near-death experiences, where they describe leaving their bodies and experiencing an afterlife. These experiences, though they can't be scientifically validated, provide powerful accounts of what might await us after death. Also, many sacred texts across different religions speak about resurrection and the afterlife. These beliefs weren't born out of imagination but from profound experiences and a deep understanding of life.
Alex, even if we accept the possibility of some kind of higher existence, it still doesn't explain how or why a resurrection would happen. Wouldn't it be just as likely that once we die, that's the end? Why should we accept a supernatural explanation?
Tom. That's an important question, Alex. Ultimately, belief in the resurrection involves faith, and it's not solely based on scientific evidence. Some of the greatest thinkers in history have believed that the world has a purpose and meaning that extends beyond physical death. If we only trust what we can see and measure, then we limit ourselves to a very narrow view of reality. Take for example the idea of a first cause. Many philosophers argue that everything that begins must have a cause, and since the universe began, it must have had a cause. That cause, for many, is God, who has the power to resurrect the dead. Resurrection isn't just a random idea, It's a part of a broader understanding of the universe and our place in it.
Alex, you bring up some compelling arguments, Tom. It does seem that there could be more to life and death than I've considered. Perhaps there's a deeper purpose that goes beyond what we can observe. Maybe I've been too focused on the material aspects of life.
Tom. Exactly, Alex. Many people throughout history have found comfort and meaning in believing in an afterlife. The resurrection, like many of the greatest truths in life, might not be something we can fully understand right now, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Belief in the resurrection can give us a sense of purpose, moral guidance, and hope for the future.
Conclusion. Alex, perhaps you're right, Tom. Maybe there's more to this concept than I've realized. It's something worth exploring and considering more deeply.
Tom. That's the beauty of it, Alex. We don't have all the answers, but the search for truth is what gives life meaning. Sometimes, it's in the mystery that we find the deepest insights.
This video is intended solely for the exploration of philosophical concepts and discussions related to the Day of Judgment and Resurrection. We have no personal agenda or goal other than to facilitate a thoughtful conversation. All ideas presented are for testing and exploring artificial intelligence concepts and should not be taken as an endorsement of any particular belief system.